Dyson's fans offer quiet and non-buffeting air circulation, thanks to their lack of blade, and oscillate very elegantly. This top-of-the-range model does a load more besides. Most importantly, for the purposes of this buying guide, it heats. Via the reliable iOS and Android app, you can set a favored temperature, even when you're out of the house, and Dyson's lengthily named air mover will maintain that heat with minimum fuss. There's also a neat little remote that provides most of the same functionality, albeit only at closer range. The fan also cools in summer and removes impurities and allergens from the air too, with the filter needing a change about once a year or so, depending on how often you use it. The app will tell you when it's time. This is useful for people with allergies, as the HEPA filter can trap carbon and pet dander. It's energy efficient too, automatically shutting itself off when no longer needed, and back on when temperature needs change. It's the only fan heater to have quiet mark accreditation, so it won't get in the way of a good night's sleep. Like most Dyson products, the idea is that you leave the Dyson Pure Hot Plus Cool Link fan heater and air purifier out as part of your decor, rather than hiding it in the loft when not required. However, we'd say you can only just leave it out July 24, 365, because it is rather a squat thing that is nearer to functional than it is to sexy. The Dyson Hot Plus Cool Fan Heater is essentially the Dyson Pure Hot Plus Cool Link Fan Heater and Air Purifier, but without the Link app and air purifier bits. It's significantly improved over its predecessor, the AM5, with 75% quieter operation. That's largely the result of redesigned airflow channels, which have reduced turbulence within the unit. As it's the same fan you'll find in the purifier model, that means the same silent operation and quiet mark accreditation. It can be used in a very focused way to heat a specific bit of the room, such as your computer desk, or it can be set to a more diffuse blowout, for wider area heating. Even without its big bros bells and whistles, you're still getting a lot of design for your money here. While there are plenty of Me Too products mimicking Dyson's designs for a lot less money, they're not a patch on the real thing. The Analittle is like Stadler's other Anna heater, but cheaper and, yes, littler. Don't let its tiny dimensions fool you, though. It still chucks out a very creditable 1200 W from its tiny fan, making it ideal for smaller spaces. Stadler heaters are made to high standards and tend to deliver very quiet performance, and this is no exception. It's worth noting that it's very much a no-frills product, though. If you want a heater that'll oscillate, chill you in the summer or switch itself on in the morning, this is not the little heater that can. It's worth pointing out another omission. Unlike many small heaters, the Analittle doesn't have a carrying handle. It's a heater that's designed to be placed in one place most of the time, so if you need one that you can move around easily, you might be better off with something less elegant but more flexible. Hall is an adaptive heater, which means that, like the Dysons, it adjusts its output to maintain whatever temperature you choose in much the same way the heating and cooling system in your car does. It's accurate to plus or minus 1 degree, and has 8 heat settings that you can control remotely or from the integrated control panel. One of the main benefits of the Hall heater is that it's very quiet, even at the higher airflow settings, wafting the air around rather than blowing it in your face. It works as a fan in the summer too, circulating air around even large rooms. It's a more premium model, but cheap compared to a Dyson, and well engineered. It's also smaller than it looks, pumping out up to 2000 W of heat from a relatively restrained 18 cm footprint. You can get no-name knockoffs that are much cheaper, but they're also less efficient and a lot more noisy. The main downside of fan heaters is that they stop heating the air as soon as you switch them off, so you often find yourself in the cycle of too cold, that's better, and too hot, And of course, whenever they're on, they're burning through your electricity bill. An oil-filled radiator isn't as instant. They all take a while to warm up, but the oil stays hot for a long time, continuing to warm the room long after the heating element switches off. That makes them particularly well suited to everyday use in a wide range of places, and the inclusion of a timer is particularly handy in places where central heating isn't available. You might want to trial one if you're planning to put it in a small bedroom. However, some people find the timers overly noisy, and like other radiators, there's a bit of noise as they warm up and cool down.